Would you publish the verdict, please?
In the Circuit Court of the 15th Judicial Circuit, Criminal Division, in and for Palm Beach County, Florida, case number 21 CF 002938 A and B, Division W, State of Florida versus Travis Rudolph. Defendant, verdict. We, the jury, find as follows. As to count 1, we find the defendant not guilty. As to count 2, we find the defendant not guilty. As to count 3, we find the defendant not guilty. As to count 4, we find the defendant not guilty. So say we all, the 7th day of June, 2023, in West Palm Beach, County, Florida.
Would either side like to have the jury polled? All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I, on behalf of everyone who is a participant in this trial, would like to thank you for your time and your consideration. I also wish to advise you of the special privileges enjoyed by jurors. In the absence of a court order, no juror can be required to talk about the discussion that occurred in the jury room. Our judicial system relies on juries for consideration of difficult cases. We recognize that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair so long as they wish it. Therefore,
all right, so listen, family, y'all caught that, right? The brother Travis Rudolph is not guilty on all counts now. On all counts. This is amazing, y'all. This is absolutely good news. Great news, because as you can see, somebody had put right there in my comments that I know that his heartbeat was in his throat because it didn't look good. Emotionally, we all understood what happened, but lawfully, man, he was fighting for his life, okay? The fact that he was so far from the vehicle, the fact that he did not call the police and the people around him didn't call the police after it was over, all these things are glaring signs against him and major mistakes that he made. Not taking her serious when she did the threats, not dealing with law, but overall how he treated the woman, you know, not taking the relationship seriously, insulting her the way he did, infuriating, provoking that incident, at least while she was there. None of those are things that he should have done. Putting up with her for so long, knowing that she likes to hit, being that she just hit him last Valentine's Day because she said he did the bare minimum for her. So she was hitting him that day. His brother time and time told him to leave her alone, and he didn't. So I don't want you men to be looking at it saying, great, he did everything right. He didn't do everything right. But it is good news that he is not being put away for life for the murder of, I think it's Sebastian. Okay, family? And that's unfortunate that a life was lost. I know that the responsibility of it is he did get in that vehicle. He did choose to ride with his friends to do this. But all in all, man, we got to make sure that we are teaching our children not to be going out here and risking their lives for their friends, okay? In this way, you understand, they go out here and they want to be loyal to their friends. But if I knew that my child was about to run out the door to go do an act like that on behalf of his friend's sister, I would have told him to stay home. And I know he would have felt like that he's supposed to be loyal to his friend. And I would have told him, no, you're supposed to focus on your dreams. You're supposed to manifest your destiny. Your friend wouldn't ask you to come along for something like that. Your friend wouldn't ask you to risk everything that you work for in your life for something like that. That's just not wise. And I would have bidded my son to go ahead and stay home. You understand? So we're supposed to learn from these cases. I always say, please be an intelligent person, not a fool. An intelligent person learns from other people's mistakes, and a fool, they learn from their own. Hopefully, they'll learn from their own. But let's not have to learn from our own. This is a very sad situation, that a life is lost, another person was injured. But it's a sad situation that 2 years of this man's life was taken from him, that he was looked at as a murderer for the last 2 years, all the money that he's lost, all that's really sad, you know, but really bad situation here. And it's good that there's a positive to it. But let's check this video out right here where he comes out. Let's see him relieved that he's going home. Let's go.
Life, man. I just want to thank the jurors, thank the court, thank everyone that was involved in this, man, because it means a lot for the support with everyone.
What do you think of the fact that they came back with a verdict in just, 3 or 4 hours?
I mean, I just felt like it was right. You know what I'm saying? I knew all along, you know what I'm saying, that I did what I had to do to just protect me and my brother's life. So.
Also, before I interrupt you, I just want to tell you it's been a team effort with Ms. Perlette, who couldn't be here today. And also, this is Ralph Morrison. He's a private investigator, former law enforcement officer and Marine. And Ralph is behind the scenes in many cases, and without him, we couldn't have done this.
This has been a momentous day for you. What's next for you in your life, Travis?
What's next? I'm definitely going to celebrate with my family, get back to trying to play football and everything. And just a walking testimony that, you know, without these two guys, Heidi, my team, my foundation, I wouldn't be here today to stay strong.
You're smiling big right now. Now that you're officially acquitted, can you walk us through what the past 2 years were like, knowing that you didn't do anything wrong?
Oh, man, it's just a lot of tears were shed, man. Overwhelming tears, you know what I'm saying? Long nights, sleepless nights, everything. So that's what the last 2 years has been for me.
Do you feel like you want to pursue a case against any of the other players that played in what happened 2 more years ago?
Well, I'm not going to let Travis answer that at this point. He's just going to enjoy his freedom now, and we'll look at all options later on.
What does this mean for your football career? What are your plans there?
Now, guys, right there where he's asking him if he'd like to pursue a case against them, this can only be civilly. This is not criminally here. And so likely he won't, because even if he pursues them civilly, they may not have anything that they can give him. They may not have any money. So is it worth it for him to hire lawyers to pursue them for damages and things, even though he has lost a hell of a lot in dealing with this case and dealing with her? She's taken a lot from him with those accusations and the things that he's had to go through in his life. But can she really compensate him for the damages and the losses? He may not pursue that. Okay, now criminally, can they try her for some things? Absolutely. Accomplice, attempted murder, in fact, to Travis, of course, which was unsuccessful, but accomplice to murder, because there is a man whose life is lost during this whole thing. Inciting, battery, assault and battery, and manslaughter also. Being that she knew that Travis had weapons, that she's full aware of that, and she sent her brother and friends over there anyway. She was aware of it. She orchestrated it. She told them to do it. They would not be there had she not told them that. Criminal negligence, family. Again, if her testimony is she didn't know her brothers had weapons and they was just going over there to talk, you knew you were sending them to a man who was armed. So that's like almost like setting somebody up on the other side. So we know that's likely not the case, that she sent them over there with no weapons, because we've already seen the text messages that clearly say, "Please shoot his shit up," as a response to Travis is a dead man walking. So, but yeah, these things, she can be tried for these things and all those involved. All right, but let's continue.
I'm gonna reach out to my agent, and God's willing, I'll still be able to play football. So definitely planning on getting back to football.
CFL or NFL? Or...
Yeah, anyone, just an opportunity. I love the game, so.
You're not out of your prime yet, huh?
No, I'm just actually reaching my prime.
Were you nervous when we didn't know what was going to happen here? I know you and your family were out in the hallway praying. Could you tell us why that was an important thing for you?
Of course. I mean, it's just the fact of not knowing. You get what I'm saying? Like, your life is in 12 jurors' hands. That's a scary feeling. So definitely was nervous, and you know, we definitely pray a lot. We have unwavering faith, so that's what the prayer was about.
Travis had faith from day one. He never, even the day he was arrested, he told me how innocent he was and how he didn't do anything on purpose. And he's never varied from his story. He's the first client in 35 years who had the exact same version from day one till he testified. And he's been totally confident, more than any of us actually, that the truth was going to come out, and his belief in God helped him get through this.
You have your mom, your brother, so many of your loved ones are out here. Tell us about their support right now and how you feel.
It's a lot of support, man. I love my mom. I'm a mama's boy, and I know she can finally probably sleep more, you know what I'm saying? And then my brother, thank God for my brother, man. He's a hero as well. It's not just me.
Mom, how do you feel? You have a few words, Mom?
The only thing I say is thank you, God. Thank you for just making this day happen. And I love you.
Yes, sir.
What would you say to the jury, man?
Can we take a moment and just let's share some of the joy right there. I can feel the joy. Mother knowing that her child is now coming home. not going away for life. Man, I know that she's happy. I know that she is relieved. She was out there that day to watch them get jumped, to see that whole ordeal. I know she's traumatized by it and in shock from it. I know she's sitting in that courthouse, man, so nervous. I bet there are no words to express. You could hear her crying in the courtroom as well from the relief that her baby coming home, man. So that's just exciting. Okay, so celebrate that, man. That's awesome. I know they're so happy. Let's go.
Anything you want to say to the
I
jury?
really appreciate the jury. They made the right decision, and God bless them all. And I appreciate them for taking out the time to actually listen to the truth come out.
What does a not guilty verdict on not one but all 4 counts mean? What kind of message does that send, Mark?
Well, you know, life, we're all human. We all make mistakes. I was tough on the lead officer. It's nothing personal. She really did arrest this man without the right information. And we hope it's a learning experience. That's what life's about. And hopefully she gets her cases done differently next time, and she learns some from this, and the sheriff learns from this, because there's many mistakes made. And if those mistakes weren't made and this case was done properly, we may not be here. But we are here. So let's take this as a learning experience, and we have no hard feelings towards anyone, and we wish everyone the best. And everyone lost in this case. No matter what the verdict is, we're all losers as a community. But we're happy that the truth came out.
How has Travis lost in this case?
He lost 2 years of his life. 2 years of playing football, 2 years of roaming free, 2 years of hugging his family, 2 years of having a possible life sentence hanging over his head, having to pay for lawyers, having to suffer sleepless nights and worrying about this case. He's lost immensely that he'll never get back, but at least he can start his life over. Today he's being reborn.
Is there a message you'd like to give to the other families, the other parties that are involved?
Well, I think there's a message right there. Speaking of message right there, if he was going to pursue them in civil court, then that would absolutely be how it would start off right there, talking about all those losses and damages. And he might be the man for the job. He definitely expressed that very well right there. His life will never be the same. You can never make that up. You can never make that up, family. And yeah, he could have been spending his life in prison. You understand? You've got to be grateful that the jury made the right decision here. Because you got to think, if they would have convicted this man and put him away for what would have been, 4 consecutive life sentences overall, you would have been basically saying it's okay to gather up 3 to 4 men, go to somebody's house, just beat the crap out of them, and as long as your back is turned and you're trying to get away, there's nothing they can do to you without being punished to the fullest extent of the law. That would be horrible, because we know that's vigilante justice. And so to put this man behind bars for life and call that murder 1 would have been absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Even though he didn't call the police, even though he was far away from the vehicle, the distance he was away from it, you know, all those little nuanced things they were trying to argue to prove that, to try and prove their case, which very, very well could have went that way. You know, I think they thought about that though. If I convict this man, what exactly are we saying here? What would be the message, right? But let's continue.
Give the other families, the other parties that are involved?
Well, everyone should be responsible for their own actions. Right or wrong, we should all be responsible for what we do. And the jury spoke loud and clear that these men are responsible for the death of their friend. And maybe the state attorney's office will look a little differently.
Well, not just those men are responsible for the death of their friend. Dominique is, family. And so, again, they would be saying, if they convicted Travis, that it's okay to call your siblings and incite them to go do your bidding for you, to use them like Doberman pinschers and pit bulls because you feel disrespected or offended, or even if they did disrespect you or offend you, that you choose to use your siblings like that. It's okay to call your siblings and have them go fight your battles for you rather than have your police protect and serve. That's what you would be saying. But let's continue.
Next time, or even now at this case, as to who the real perpetrators were. But we can't change that.
To the John Jock family.
Well, we're sorry for their loss, obviously. It's sad that anyone died, but responsibility is the most important thing. And that's why I've been doing this on both sides for so long, as a prosecutor and as a defense lawyer.
Brilliantly said. He didn't go into it into great detail, but he did choose to go out and get in that car and follow his friends that day. And it's sad that his life is lost. But without saying that, he said responsibility is everything, family. And it's sad that her life is lost, but who's responsible for all of this? Is it Travis? No. Dominique? Keyshawn? Well, I tell you, it's more of their fault than it is Travis's, right? But let's continue.
Because I believe in responsibility and the truth. And the truth came out today.
This verdict was unanimous, right? They had to all 12 agree on the same thing?
All agree, yes, sir.
And could he have faced multiple life sentences or one life sentence?
Oh, he was facing the first degree murder was life in prison without parole. The attempted murders were a minimum of 25 years to life. So he would have died in prison. The opposite verdict, you would not ever see this man again, a free man. This verdict, he's now a free man.
So you could have potentially gotten 4 life sentences?
Basically, yes, sir. Okay?
All right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
That's all I have to do.
Thank you.
You're free to go. There you go.
Oh, is that right?
I had to say that.
Yeah, man, that's exciting, man. So I would just say, I know Travis is excited to be home, excited to have his life back, excited to be able to get back on his journeys and manifesting his dreams. But I want to advise you, brother, please choose wisely the women that you bring into your life. And when you do bring a woman into your life, please honor your commitments and treat her right. Be concise in what you mean. Be precise with what you mean. Honor your commitments. Don't provoke. Don't do the things that you did to contribute to this situation. I'm sure you know this now. I'm sure that 2 years of what's happened to you has enlightened you to all of this. But I just want to say, if this has not crossed your mind yet, if you have not yet begin to, think that deeply on it, please consider that, man. The person that you bring into your life, take your brother's advice too. Shout out to him, as a matter of fact. Advising you in that way when he should have been, holding you accountable when he should have been. But yeah, please, man, just know that your life is important to you. It's so much more valuable than that. If you have somebody, man, in your life who is willing to take the easy way and pay to look a certain way, and you're willing to go earn it, if you're willing to pour into your life every single day with consistency, work ethic, put yourself out there in front of people and challenge yourself against your competition every single day, proving your worth. If you invite somebody in your life who's willing to cheat at life, who hasn't really worked for anything, you have to understand that the work that you put into yourself becomes the value that you can account for yourself. So the more you pour into yourself, your dreams, keep your nose clean, that's the more valuable that you are. So you are way more valuable than that person that you're bringing into your life if they don't understand work ethic for themselves, if they don't understand what it means to go after a dream. Because here you are, you got things that you work for, you got a whole lot to lose, and they don't. And one more thing, man, you have to understand that when you are a professional and you've made it to a large public platform, playing on the world stage like you have, the women in your life, they may seem like a dime a dozen to you. But to them, you in their life, you're one in a million. And they invest a lot mentally and emotionally into people like that. And when it don't go right, they try and ruin them and destroy them. That's why it's important that you choose the right people. And when you do pick somebody to be in your life, treat them right. Seriously, man, be a man of your word. All right? I'm so happy to see you be able to live your life again, man. But you came out so good right here. And yet you've lost a lot in the process. But hopefully you learn from it, and hopefully many of us learn from it as well. I also want to say this, family. A lot of us as mothers and fathers, we raise our sons to be a lot like Keyshawn. That if their sister or our daughter is offended or hurt, disrespected, hit in any kind of way like this, we want them to go handle that. And I'm not saying the exact way he did, but it's almost violently that we're saying that they should be doing this. Okay, when you're talking about that, don't work like that. You understand? And then you have to understand when they do come to you, you can't just teach. If somebody do something to your sister, go get them. You have to understand. You have to listen to both sides. You have to have tact. You have to consider everybody has a life and a future. You are not somebody's guard dog. I'm sure your parents aren't saying, or we as parents are not saying, go risk your life, go throw your life on the line if somebody, hurts your sister or our daughter. I don't think we're saying that either. But that's what that looks like if you're saying go be violent. Go throw your life on the line. Go risk your freedom. No, get her to a safe place. File charges. Get a restraining order. You understand? Because look at what happened here. Now, we can say what we want to about how wrong the situation is, but many of us, if somebody did something to our sister, she come back telling us this stuff, we'd have went running out of there too. We may have not called 4 guys and did it the exact way, but let's be honest, it wouldn't have been pretty. We could have very well lost our life and freedom behind the actions that we took too. So let's not be so judgmental, and let's not try to act like we don't understand what Keyshawn was feeling. Fully being convinced that his sister had been hurt in that way. But also understand, man, it's not, when you understand when your children have violent minds. If she's used to hitting and she goes and tells him that, the first he thinks about is hitting. It shows you that there's a trend here, right? That there's a likeness there. And that's not good, because when somebody offends you, if your mind is violent, you're going to throw your own life away. I'm telling you, in this society, you can't respond with violence when somebody offends you or disrespect you. I'm telling you. But moral of the story, I want us to understand as men that we are not guard dogs. We're not pit bulls. We're not. Protecting our sister, protecting our loved ones, the females in our life, doesn't have to look like jumping out there and causing violence or being somebody's shield. It could look like holding them accountable, telling them their behavior also wasn't correct, teaching them how they contributed to that behavior, and ahead of time knowing how to respond in these situations, teaching them how not to fuel them and teaching them how to talk to each other. That's how we protect them, teaching them how to treat each other, family. And then protocol, what to do in case this happens. But if you don't tell your sons how to do it, how do we protect our sisters? If we don't talk about how we do it, then they're just going to do it the best way they know how. And you got to consider their mother, okay, the medical assistant. If they're tried for this case, her son and her daughter are going away for a long time. The son was in college. Keyshawn's in college. He threw all that away in a moment because he said he loves his sister and he'll do anything for her. He even texted her, "I love you so much. I got you." Travis is a dead man walking. He said, "I love her." His love for her equaled stupidity. It equaled him totally forgetting about his own goals, dreams, his own parents' legacy that can only be fulfilled through him, the children that he would bring to the family. All that goes out the window. You say, he slammed you twice, he hit you, let me go over there. Let me gather up my crew. They're not thinking clearly. They risk their lives too for their friend's sister, not even their own. We're not raising our children right. We're not giving them the right data if they're responding like that. Something to consider, family. Be evolution, be the change that you want to see. No candle loses its flame from lighting another. And if you were to ever find yourself in the middle of chaos, it is in that chaos that you have found yourself. Peace, family.